Let's shift over to what's happening on Team GOP, Mark, because it's so funny to me. Trump doesn't have to be doing all these cabinet appointees right now, but he doesn't like being out of the news cycle, and he's got 2 months until he gets sworn in. So he's like, Matt Gaetz, how about let's name Matt Gaetz right now. Not to mention RFK, and Tulsi, all of whom I like, but as the days pass, it seems like Matt Gaetz's chances are getting slimmer and slimmer. There was a comment by Trump to the New York Times today saying he puts Gaetz's chances at less than even for getting confirmed, which seems to be a telegraph to the public and to the Times that Trump anticipates Gaetz failing to get the necessary votes. How do you take it?
Well, that's a pretty good read. My suspicion is, as you suggested, the Times didn't say Trump himself told him that, but I think you and I know that he probably did. Matt Gaetz is a fighter. Matt Gaetz has MAGA on his side. He's now had a very supportive tweet in the middle of the night from Elon Musk, too, actually. And you don't have to withdraw a nominee until the committee votes him down, right? So Donald Trump can just say, we're going forward, and dare the committee to vote against him. But he does have a range of issues with Republicans, including Matt Gaetz has been, the insult comic dog, attacking Republican senators by name. I suspect, even though he's not been super outspoken, that Mitch McConnell would never vote for him, and Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, which means they have to get every other Republican senator. And since there's a dozen reasons to vote against Matt Gaetz, if you're a Republican senator who doesn't like Matt Gaetz, it's hard to see him being confirmed, but I don't rule it out because, as I said, if Donald Trump sticks by him and if Matt Gaetz wants to use his very prodigious talents to try to figure out how to get 50 votes, I don't rule out that he can do it. But Trump's comments, I think, tilted the scale for me against saying more likely than not he's confirmed.
Now, what I'm hearing is that Trump is actually speaking to senators who might be on the fence and asking, do you think he can get confirmed? And if there's any sort of a negative projection, Trump's messaging is along the lines of, gee, that's too bad. He's a good guy. Like, Trump wants him to be confirmed. And Trump hasn't given up hope, but is testing the waters. And to me, that telegraphs that Trump understands the Senate is a separate body that he doesn't control and isn't maybe going to go full jihad on them if they don't get behind Gaetz. It's not a, you will confirm him or I will primary your ass and make sure you lose your next election, Mark. Like, do you see it the same way?
Yeah, he's not drawn that line with any of them. And while Gaetz has clearly been the one in the news this week, on the morning meeting, we talk about the controversial five. There's four other nominees who I think if it were a secret ballot and the senators could just vote how they wanted, none of the five would be confirmed. However, there is deference to any incoming president. Donald Trump has revolutionized the Republican Party, even with a somewhat narrow victory. He's turned the party into a multiracial working class party, which people on Capitol Hill respect and appreciate. So I think that it's possible that he'll stick with Gaetz in order to allow the senators to say, okay, you didn't want Matt Gaetz. Now you've got to vote for the others. Because again, although I think they're more likely to be confirmed than not in the other four cases, they are all controversial, not just for Democrats in the media, but for some Republicans as well. And that means he can't take for granted. He doesn't want his entire November, December into January taken up with the media's obsession with confirmation politics.
Mm-hmm. I have a master plan of my own. No one's asked me for it, but I'm going to give it because I have this microphone. I think that if Matt Gaetz falls through, and yes, we've shifted the Overton window. I get it. What's acceptable, what's controversial, what's too controversial. That's all moved thanks to our debating Matt Gaetz for all his time. Then he slides in Mike Davis, frequent guest of the Megyn Kelly Show. I'm telling you, this guy, he works for this legal group called the Article 3 Project, and he clerked for one of the Supreme Court justices, and he's brilliant. He said some incendiary things early on when the lawfare against Trump first got rolling, and I was like, who is this guy? This is crazy talk, what he's saying. The more I looked into him, the more I'm like, oh my God, this guy's actually very smart. Turns out he's actually really smart, has a very impressive legal background, has been very, very loyal to Trump. And can I tell you guys, he comes on here and debates Dave Ehrenberg, prosecutor for Palm Beach County. And Dave, I think, would be the first to agree. Mike's been right about everything, maybe 2%. Dave got him. No offense to Dave. He's been right about a lot in a different way. But this guy is not only very, very loyal to Trump, but he is brilliant. So I'm kind of thinking, even though he's a shit stirrer online, right? He says stuff that gets him in trouble online. He doesn't actually, as far as I know, have true controversies, like we're talking about Gaetz. I'm hoping he slides in Mike Davis. Okay, there's my theory, thanks to my microphone. So you tell me, Dan, Gaetz resigned from Congress last Wednesday when Trump announced him, saying, now that I'm going to be the nominee, I'm resigning from Congress, which put off the public release of the House's investigatory document against Matt Gaetz, which was supposed to come out this past Friday. But that thing's going to leak in what it's like TikTok. Here we are at noon on Tuesday. I mean, does it have another 24 hours before it leaks?
I can't imagine it's too much longer than that. And I think the issue is not just that Democrats are dying to get their hands on it. I think to Mark's point, there are a lot of Republicans that want to see him go down, both in the House and the Senate. And so there's kind of a collective incentive amongst all these people, whether it's formally released or it's leaked. And of course, if it's leaked, you're likely to get just pieces of it. So then people are going to say, what else is there? You need to put the whole thing out. So I have to imagine that this thing comes out. I think this isn't really a Democratic issue. Obviously, they're in the minority in the Senate. To me, the bigger issue, and we've talked about this a little bit kind of during this week, is does all the MAGA influencers on the right dig in and push, whether Trump is or not, and insist that Gaetz be confirmed? Because I don't think a lot of senators want to start this next Congress going to war with everybody online. It's really hard to go home in the grocery store, town halls, and answer your own constituents from your own party about why you're against this guy. So that's what I think is very fascinating. Of course, for Democrats, it's one of the few instances where we can smile and watch the other side be uncomfortable.
Megyn, the thing about Matt Gaetz is he's not a normal nominee under siege. He's not normal in part because of the downsides, because of the allegations against him, because he's personally insulted senators, which is not normal for most people in Washington. But he's also not normal because MAGA loves him. He's a MAGA superhero. There's a personal and emotional bond. But he's also, and again, you don't have to be a fan of Matt Gaetz to say this. People don't realize he's brilliant. He's strategic. He's tough. He's very savvy and realistic. And so he's not approaching this the way a lot of people would, which is, what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my family? What lies are going to be told about me? He's dealt with this for the last many years. And so he can go into this like a cyborg walking through a storm of fire. He doesn't care.
Grand Canyon University, a private Christian university in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, believes that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. GCU believes in equal opportunity and that the American dream starts with purpose. By honoring your career calling, you can impact your family, friends, and your community. Change the world for good by putting others before yourself. Whether your pursuit involves a bachelor's, master's, or doctoral degree, GCU's online, on-campus, and hybrid learning environments are designed to help you achieve your unique academic, personal, and professional goals. With over 340 academic programs, GCU meets you where you are and provides a path to help you fulfill your dreams. The pursuit to serve others is yours. Let it flourish. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.